Hi everybody, my name is Steph and I'm with Killer Sites amongst other sites. So this vlog is going to get many nerds, at least some nerds, kind of angry, and it's called AngularJS, ReactJS, and Flash intros. So let me give you a bit of history. So everybody remembers Flash maybe? Flash was, animation technology. You would do Flash apps and use Flash to play video on the web. And in 2000 and I don't know what it was, 8 or something, or 7, Steve Jobs effectively killed Flash, and Flash is pretty much no more. But let me roll back many years back in the late 90s when Flash really got really popular for a while. Well, it got popular for a long while, but that's when it really jumped ahead. And in the old days, something became very popular with Flash, something called the Flash intro. And what it was is just when you hit a website, you would have this big Flash movie or presentation would appear with animations and all this kind of stuff. Just kind of like an opening credits or opening television commercial type of deal. And that was what a Flash intro was. Now, the problem with the Flash intro is that everybody just decided that we need a Flash intro. So when I was at that point with Studio Web at that time, this is like in 98 or 97 or something like that, maybe 99. Anyway, everybody was doing Flash intros. Nobody knew exactly why you should do Flash intros. They all said, well, that's what you need. You need a Flash intro. That's what everybody said. And so when I had my web development studio and I would approach clients and they say, okay, we got to put in a Flash intro. And again, the clients would go, what's that? And I said, well, I explain what it was. And they go, okay, I guess that's what we do. That's what you do. You put in a Flash intro. So every website in the world, not every, but a huge amount of websites out there had Flash intros because that's what you had to have. You had to have Flash intros. And fast forward like a couple of years, something like that. And then what people started discovering is that nobody really liked Flash intros in terms of people visiting websites. And the second most clicked button on the web was skip intro. That's what you always had. That was like the design pattern. You would have your Flash intro and you have the ability to skip intro. You click a button, you would pass all the stupid animations and you go to the real site. And so what we discovered again in time, but the skip intro button was the second most clicked button on the web. The number one button was the back button on the browser. Number two was the skip intro. So, slowly everybody started realizing that the Flash intro was just a big waste of time and money since nobody wanted to watch Flash intros. So let's fast forward to ReactJS and AngularJS. Now, I'm not saying React and AngularJS are as bad as Flash intros. Actually, they can be very useful tools. All I'm trying to say is that before you jump into using Flash, ReactJS, or Angular, really decide if you really need it, if it serves a purpose to go through the trouble of using React or using Angular. Remember, these tools were designed for specific purposes. And for instance, with ReactJS, it was designed by Facebook because of what Facebook needed to do on their site, what they needed to do on Facebook. Does that mean that you need to do all that kind of stuff on Facebook? Consider that before you get into the extra work and headache of putting in and learning ReactJS. Same thing with Angular. Do you really need AngularJS for your site to work well? This is a big question that you got to ask yourself. With any technology, you should ask yourself, do you need it for your site, or are you just putting in because you've been told by the nerds out there that you need it? This is something I've seen over and over again. I've been coding since 1994. You have to think about whether or not you need the technology. Because you got to remember, whether it be a programming language or a JavaScript library like React and Angular or anything, you have to think about whether or not you need it to get the job of the site done. Because you always want to stress simplicity in your websites, your web apps, and your mobile apps. Go for simplicity. That is the difference, the big difference, one of the big differences between a great coder and a coder is, is the great coder strips out all the unnecessary stuff and concentrates on delivering a product that works and is extremely simple in terms of its code base, extremely simple in terms of how it works and how easy it is to use. Let me tell you, whether it be writing a book or writing magazine articles, which I've done both, whether it be coding, design, whether designing beautiful pages and layouts and UIs, or whether it be martial arts, which I did for 25, 30 years, simplicity is the hard part. That's what separates the true masters from the pretenders. The masters can get the job done very quickly, very easily, and very simply. The best coders, when I look at code, the best coders produce simple, easy to understand code. When I'm mentoring my coders up and getting them up in terms of their skill set, I'm always stressing that. Simplify that code, simplify that function, simplify that object, simplify that method, simplify. And you should be able to look at a page of code, you should look at a structure of your app, and you should be able to just visually check it out, and you should be able to figure out what's going on pretty quickly without having to dig. If your code is so complex that you can't remember what you're doing 6 months later, or you get a guy who's a pretty good coder and he can't figure out, or she can't figure out what you were trying to do and how you were trying to do it with relative ease, then your code needs work. That's all I got to say. So there you go. The whole point about mentioning Flash intros is we're talking about not introducing technology, not introducing elements into your site, into your apps unless they're necessary. That's my tip for today.